Hey, Stephanie. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Hey, Mrs. Etna. Blessings to y'all. Blessings, blessings, blessings. Listen, y'all. This probably is going to be a several part prophetic word. Today has been a really productive day. It has been a day of God literally like ushering me into movement. It has been a day of feeling overwhelmed. It's been a day of having no choice but to conquer my fear. It's been a day of being wowed by God, but it has also been a day of so much revelation. I'm just going to flow into this thing. And as people come in, to those of you guys that are here, please share this with whoever you feel led to share it with. If you have not caught any of like the broadcasts today, like I really encourage you guys to go back and catch those broadcasts from earlier today. Every single broadcast has brought a different aspect of what God is doing in this season. Every broadcast has brought a sense of what is to come. So after the last broadcast, I had just made up my mind I was gonna walk my dogs, because it feels good outside. And I said, okay, Lord, I'm facing my fear. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do this pre-approval thing. I really don't have a choice, so I'm gonna just do it. Right? Hey, Visha. And so I found myself doing the pre-approval. It has been easy so far. But literally, right as I pulled up, and this is the first revelation, don't be distracted. I need somebody to type that in. Don't be distracted. Like as you move on what God needs you to move on, as He ushers you into like your new season, please understand that the enemy wants to aggravate you. So literally as I pull up the link to start like my pre-approval process for becoming a homeowner, my mother calls me. And I mean literally as I pulled it up, she calls me. And it was in such a frantic, you need to call this person. It was a bill that I owed the IRS. Somebody stopped by the house and it wasn't a lot, maybe about $50. And and she was just frantic. You need to do this. You need to do this. And all I could do was say, listen, I got to call you back. I am busy. Needless to say, I went ahead and once I got done with what I was doing, I went ahead and took care of it. Right. So the first part of the revelation is like, as God shifts you, please understand that the enemy is going to try to distract you. I'm going to say that again. And, the way that he tries to distract you, it may be different for me because the way that the enemy attacks us is always, and I do mean always, is very much so specific, like to who you are. So for me, the enemy always attacks me through my mother, right? And so in that moment, I knew that before I do what she's trying to tell me to do, I need to handle this pre-approval thing and then I'll do that. Right? The main purpose of what God was telling me in that moment was like, stick to what I told you to do. Whatever it is God has told you to do in this hour, stick to that. I'm going to say this again. Whatever God is telling you to do in this hour, listen, do what God said first and then deal with whatever else pops up. I feel like I need to say this again because we are in an hour where for many of us, the blessings are literally going to be coming back to back to back to back to back in such a way. God wants me to reiterate this in such a way where many of us are going to be feeling overwhelmed because it's like, God, I didn't even realize that I didn't even realize, right? That it was going to come as fast as it did. And you may feel like you're not ready. You may have fears that you got to face head on and you don't have time to baby yourself into facing that fear. But number one, do what God said do first. If God told you to work on your business plan, then baby, that is what you need to be doing. If God has told you to call, and pursue living arrangements, that is what you need to be doing, because the truth of the matter is, if it ain't what God said do, it can wait. Whew. He says, I need to say that again. If it isn't what God told you to do, it can wait. All right. Y'all can act like y'all don't. I'm going to say it again. If it's not what God told you to do, it can wait. Think about all the moments where God has told you to do something, and then ironically, something comes up to divert your attention away from what God needs you to do. Have you ever noticed it, right? Let's just say God has been dealing with you about reading the Bible. Have you ever noticed that at moments where you're trying to sit down and read the Bible, all types of distractions pop up to make you put what God said on hold, right? Maybe God has told you, like, get your health together. Have you ever noticed that the most warfare, the most distractions come around the time when you're getting ready to work out? I said what I said, right? Maybe God has you like pursuing, whatever it is. Just think about it. So what we have to understand is that even as we shift seasons, especially these are major shifts. I'm not talking about no little blessings. Can I just talk? I'm not talking about no little blessings. God gave me no, I'm not talking about God giving you gas money. I mean life changing blessings. God shifting the direction that your life has been going in. God leveling you up. God changing you to a different tax bracket. It is imperative that as God speaks to you, as God gives you instructions, that you stick to what God said do. I don't find it strange that in the moment of me facing a fear and doing what I know I need to do, that my mother would call me freaking out frantic over something. I'm like, they're not going to put me in jail over $50. I'm going to pay it. It was already on my little to-do list for the month of February to pay that, right? So what I had to do was abort mission. Let me just tell you, Mama, I love you, but you got to get off this phone, because I got to do what God said do. And I'm going to show you how this ties into this next point, right? Don't be distracted. So as I got off the phone with her, right? I finished the application process, reached out to my realtor, told her, hey, I hit the girl up that you told me about. And I'm doing the process to getting pre-approved. So the lady literally calls me back. I'm headed to the gym. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm looking at browsing homes, just browsing, looking to see, do I see something new? Whatever the case may be, right? The bank person calls me back, real sweet lady. I mean, it was God, because I'm like, God, I'm not even nervous talking to this lady. Her voice is so soothing. It's just, she's so peaceful. I can tell that this is a patient person. So as she's reading me my credit score, I'm just assuming it's gonna be real bad, God. She started reading them numbers, and I'm glad she couldn't see me, because I'm looking around like, when has been that high, God? My credit score ain't been that high since I was like fresh out of college. Like, it's crazy numbers. I'm like, she listed the lowest number, she listed the middle, then she listed the highest. I was like, whoa, 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 lady. He didn't even let me ask her, are you sure? Are you sure, lady? Are you sure that's the highest? Because I ain't heard that number in almost a decade. If I can be, it's been almost a decade since I've heard that. That's good credit, lady. And here I am afraid, because I think that credit is going to be an issue, right? And so as I'm sitting here, and after I got off the phone with her, she's like, I'm going to send you the email. Just send me the documents that I need. And then boom, we're going to send it up, and we're going to make it do what it do. And we're going to start the process, right? So as I'm sitting here, the Lord said, not only was what you were concerned about not an issue, but I heard him say, this was about my timing. I needed you to do it when you did, because it was the timing. Somebody needs to hear this. I'm going to say it again. The Lord said, I needed you to do this when you did, because it was the time for it. And he told me, he said, haven't you learned by now that as long as you're faithful, as long as you're obedient, that there is no length that I won't go through to show you that I'm a good God? There are some of y'all that need to hear that it won't always make sense what God tells you to do. There will always be moments where you will be tempted to do something other than what God told you to do. There will be moments where it is hard to do what God. I have to call her back. Listen, I'm not freezing, am I? It is so important that you obey God. You could be one act of obedience away from God shifting your entire life. I'm going to say that again. And I realized in that moment when God said it, that the enemy wanted you to live in fear. If you would have delayed your obedience, you would not have, one, been able to see that the thing that you fear was nothing to fear. And you delaying it would have made you miss your moment. It would have made you miss your moment. How many of you guys have been delaying what the Lord told you to do because you've been too in your head? How many of you have been delaying, allowing yourself to get distracted, putting what God told you to do on the back burner? God tell you to sow. You say, well, God, I'm going to sow next month. God tells you to get your business together. You like, God, I'm going to wait. Stop delaying. Stop allowing yourself to be distracted. God says, tell y'all the score. It was a 687. That's good credit. It ain't like perfect, but it's doggone good. Coming from like a 500. Coming from like a 500. Coming from like a 500. 687. But I wouldn't have known that had I delayed. I'm not bragging. I appreciate y'all for being happy. But I got to give God glory. I had to release this. I would not have known it had I delayed it. I wouldn't have gotten such grace, such favor had I delayed my obedience. Your delayed obedience is the same thing as you disobeying God. You putting off what God told you to do because you feel that you have more important things to handle. It's the same thing as you disobeying God. Do you want what he has for you or do you not? Listen, I wanted a house more than I wanted to stay stuck. Hello, somebody. I wanted a house. I believe God more for a house than the fear saying your credit ain't good enough. I believe God. Come on, somebody. My faith was bigger than the fear saying you ain't gonna have the money for that. What have you delayed? Nah, this for somebody. I received that Visha in Jesus' name. What have you delayed? What have you been delaying? God, I can't sow that amount because I'm scared. Oh, I'm scared, God, I can't sow that amount. What about this, God? What about that? Because you've been delayed, you've been straight up disobeying God. There are certain blessings that you have missed out on. He has not been able to bless you the way that come on now. He's still been taking care of you, but because you ain't really been obeying God the way that He's telling you to obey Him, you've been trying to rationalize it. You've been trying to come on, but you call Him the God of miracles, but you're trying to put Him in a box. You've been saying, God, I'll obey you when I feel like my circumstances will be perfect. Your circumstances will never be perfect. Hello, somebody. Your circumstances will never be perfect. What if I told you that you're missing the miracle because you keep getting distracted? What if I told you you're missing the encounter of how faithful God is because you keep getting distracted. Yeah. Some of y'all got more excuses than you got faith, and I said what I said. God will say, hey, go buy this equipment for your business. But God, no, I can't do this. I know I got this bill, I got this bill, I got rent, I got this bill, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. And guess what? Because you never obey it, come on, you never see the fruit of your obedience. You never receive the favor, you never receive increase because you hadn't done what he said in the first go around. And this is deeper than just finances. If you allow yourself to keep getting distracted, and the reason why it's so easy for y'all to get distracted is because you want to be distracted. You ain't really want to do what God asked you to do, no way. So the first opportunity that the enemy gave you to not do what God said do, you took it. And I said what I said, you took it. Be mad if you want to. You mad, take it up with God. Yeah, let's be real. You didn't even put up a fight to not be distracted. You didn't even put up a fight to stick to what God asked you to do. Because you didn't want to do what God asked you to do in the first place because you felt like it was too much. God, you're asking too much of me. God, I can't do that. So it's like you were looking for an excuse. You were looking for any excuse. It's kind of like a person in a relationship and they are a coward and don't have the courage to say, "Hey, I don't want to be with you anymore." They will look for listen, they don't have the courage to have that tough conversation and say, "Listen, I thought you were the one, but you ain't it. I got to move on with my." They don't have the courage. So what they do is they look for the first little sign as a way out and they take it. Some of y'all been doing the same thing with God. I could have made excuses. I could have said, God, what my mama's talking about is more important. I could have said, God, no, I'm so scared. No, I ain't gonna do it. I'll just put it off until next month. I'll wait until March 8th, which is the deadline, and then I'll do it. And guess what? My fear would have been even greater by then. Some of y'all think that you need time to get over your fear, but the more time you have to sit in that fear, the more it is going to grow. Some of y'all be feeling like, God, I just need time to get over this fear. I need time to get over this fear, God. But what you don't realize is that if you're sitting there, you ain't actively doing anything while you say you need time to get over that fear. You're just sitting in it. You're babying it. You're feeding it. So when it's time to finally face it, what you do? Put it off again. I was feeling like that with the dentist. I got a dentist appointment to get my tooth removed tomorrow. Yeah. And I was feeling like, God, I can just put it off. I done already canceled last week on them because it was before I found out I had rental assistance. I'd already canceled. And then here I am, day before my appointment. God, you want me to go? Fear saying no. God is like, if you don't take your butt to that dentist office and go get that tooth pulled, come on, somebody. God, like, if you don't stop thinking of ways to feed that fear, I'm like, but God, am I gonna have to get stitches? Is it gonna heal? Am I gonna be able to eat? I mean, I digress. Y'all get the picture. Some of y'all do the same thing though. You may not want to admit it right now, but you do the same thing with finances. Oh, it's a wrecking ball. It's a wrecking ball. It's a whole wrecking ball. Demolishing your faith. Demolishing it. You sit and you think, okay, God, if I buy this, then I'm not going to be able to do this. What about this? You calculate, okay, this is how much I get from a job. And you calculating all of these expenses. God, I already been in the red. I got this on back. Tell me I'm lying. Some of y'all been doing that. And you so stuck on putting God in a box that you can't even be exposed to the miracle because you got too much doubt. You can't even receive it. You wouldn't believe that it was God if he gave you the miracle. Yeah, you got too much. You should. You say you need to catch that. Yeah, you said you're like, okay, God, you want me to sow this? You want me to buy this? Okay, well, let me calculate. Okay, this is how much I get paid. This is what bill got to come out. Oh, I forgot about this bill. This is past due. I gotta have that. What about this? What about that? And then it leaves no room for a miracle. And it's like you can't even receive anything from God because you already have a defeated mindset. You already feel like you failed. You missed a miracle because of your own doing. And it's like your fear speaks louder than the voice of God. Your fear speaks louder than the Holy Spirit. And some of y'all have selective hearing. There's a piece here. Some of y'all have what I call selective hearing. God, I hear you as long as you're telling me I'm going to have enough money. I hear you as long as you're telling me that this situation is going to be okay. I hear you as long as you're telling me that I'm going to get a new job. I hear you as long as you're telling me I'm going to get that house. I hear you as long as you're telling me all the big good things that I want, the things that I'm praying for, but I don't really hear God. My ears clogged up, God. I can say it again, God. I can't hear you when you're really telling me what I need to do, what the requirements are, that I'm gonna have to sacrifice some. I can't really hear you, God. Listen, God, God, I think something in my ear. I think a bug in my eye. Yeah, staticky, it's staticky. You're going in and out, God. Yeah, but you can sit, and it shows up. It shows up in a way that you like, it shows up like when you are under ministries. You got all the hallelujahs when the leader is prophesying, when the leader is speaking life over you, when the leader is telling you all the good things that God is going to do. But the moment that the Lord begins to speak, right? Telling you, this is what I need. This is the sacrifice that I need you to make. This is what I need you to sow. This is what I need you to invest in. This is who I need you to cut off. It's almost like, God, nah, that ain't God. Nah, 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 God, nah, nah. That was my flesh. Yeah, that was my flesh. That was my flesh. But you'll brag. I got an ear to hear God. Let somebody come for your ear to hear God. I got a relationship with God. I got an ear to hear him. But how is it that your ear is come on, dysfunctioning when God is saying, hey, I know you got bills, but I need you to sow 500 into this leader. I need you to go come on, go buy this $1,000 equipment. And you wonder why you hadn't got the miracle. Your fear bigger than your faith, baby. Your fear is bigger than your faith. Your fear is bigger than your willingness to hear and be receptive to what God is saying. I've had to make a sacrifice at every single level when it revolved around like what I was believing God for. I've had to make a sacrifice at every single level, every single level. But one thing that I've learned is that when God speaks to you, when you know that it's him moving you, I cannot receive the blessing without also receiving the requirements. You cannot, take a job, but don't want to but come on. You cannot say, I take the job, but I don't want none of them job like requirements. I don't want to do none of that, what y'all say I got to do. Come on. Every single job. Think about it. Some of y'all got jobs now. When you get a job, look, if you go to indeed.com, it'll tell you the job title, it'll tell you what you got to do, what your role is, and it'll tell you if you qualify, what the prerequisites are, right? Some of y'all you know you have all the prerequisites for a miracle. You have all the prerequisites for a breakthrough. You have all the prerequisites for a blessing. You have all the prerequisites, and what you're doing is, I want the job, I want it, but I don't want to do none of the work. I just want the benefits of the job, the good pay, the salary pay. I want them days off. I want that paid vacation. I want them to pay for my insurance. I want all of that, but I don't want to do no work. I just want to just sit pretty and just do what I do. that 401k. But then you do the same thing to God. God, yeah, I want that big house on the hill with the white picket fence. I want that Lamborghini. I want that Jeep. Come on. I want that marriage. I want that, I want all these kids. I want all these things. I want $1 million business, God. I want you to take my ministry global. And then it's like, you're like, but God, I want all those things, but I don't want to have to like sacrifice. If it means I'm going to have to pay my tithes, I don't want to do it. If it means I'm going to have to sow more than what I'm comfortable sowing, I don't want to do it. If it means I got to cut off certain, nah, but I still want what you say I can have. This is some of y'all life story. And you will get up in a church, get up on a broadcast, hooping and hollering like you are in rightful alignment. Mad, calling every single pastor, every single prophet, every single apostle false because you're not doing your part. Baby, all they can do is listen, lead you to the water. You can lead a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink it. I can give you the blueprint all day long. I can tell you what God is speaking all day long, but it is up to you to apply. It is up to you. And the thing is, you can lie to me, but you can't lie to God. Drops mic. Exit stage left. You can catfish the pastor, the prophet, but you cannot catfish God. You're making it seem like you're doing everything that God say do and that you're in the waiting phase. No, you're in disobedience. And so God is waiting on you to get right. He's waiting on you to do what he asks you to do before you get your blessing. Now, our waiting phases are two different things. Because I'm in alignment and truly waiting. You ain't in alignment, so you're really not waiting. You are delaying yourself. There's a difference. Don't get it twisted. God says, say that again. There's a difference. Your waiting phase is not the same as mine. Your waiting phase is you delaying things because you don't want to obey, because it's too hard, because it stretches you beyond what you're comfortable. My waiting phase is no, I done did everything you said do, God, so now I'm waiting on you to move. God is not playing in this hour. He not playing. God said, say it again. He is not playing in this hour with us. You can sit up here all day and say, oh, I've been faithful to God. I've been obedient. But have you done everything that God asked you to do, or did you alter what he told you to do? Because that's what some of y'all will do too. God, I hear you telling me to sow. Wait, I hear you telling me to sow instead of this 100. I hear you telling me to sow $200 and $300. But what if I just sow 50? That I'm still obeying you, right, God? Wrong, wrong, wrong. Your fear told you to sow 50 when God said to sow 300. I'm just using finances as an example. Your fear told you to stay at that job when God told you to quit and start your own business. He told you to quit and get another job. I said what I said. Your fear told you. God didn't tell you that. Your fear told you to alter what God said do. And you just lied to yourself, right? You gaslit yourself until you actually started to believe your own foolishness. The fruit will show. The fruit shows. When you're obedient, your life bears fruit. Good fruit. That's why God has me sharing this about the house, because it's good fruit. And even though the process is literally in the beginnings, it just started, it's good fruit. I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to force anything. All I did was God said, apply for pre-approval. That lady read that credit score. It said 687. My mouth hit the floor. Said, what? Because I was concerned. High interest rates, God. I don't want no high interest rate. Lord, I don't want no high interest rate. Lord, I don't want no high interest rate. Is all I can say. God, I don't want no high interest rate. Hello, somebody. All I could do was my mouth dropped. I did nothing. I did nothing but obey. I did nothing but obey. In fact, a few months ago, I fired the lady that was working on my credit because I ain't feel like she was doing nothing. I'm like, lady, you not doing nothing. This ain't working with you. Yeah, you're fired. It ain't working with you. This ain't it. Nothing changed with her working on my stuff. Nothing. 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 I did nothing but obey. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I'm showing you the fruits of obedience. Obey God. Obey God. If you want what he promised you, obey him fully. It's not a bargaining game. You ain't trying to bargain with what he said he was gonna give you. It's not. This is not Jeopardy, baby. This is not Wheel of Fortune. No, we ain't bargaining. This is not what Family Feud. This ain't that. This ain't that. This ain't Burger King. You don't get to have it your way. Obey him. I'm gonna say it again. Obey God. Obey him. Some of y'all, even now, God is gonna test you. Are you gonna sow with the number he told you to sow? Or are you gonna keep letting your fear speak to you? Somebody here needs to tithe. I do not know who you are. Someone here needs to tithe. I don't know who you are. Someone here, God may say, I know you want to sow $10 again. I know you want to sow $5 again, but I need you to go ahead and release what I told you to release. Some of y'all that have been teetering with people that God told you to, he told you to cut off. He said block them. But you like, God, maybe if I just not block them, maybe if I just put my phone on do not, put their name, their contact on do not disturb. Maybe if I just do that, then it'll be all right. Maybe I'll be all right. I won't get their notifications. You're not obeying God fully. Oh, maybe God, I can just talk to them every once in a while. I know you said that they not good for me, but maybe if I just distance. But did God say distance or did he say cut them off? Because there's a difference. And we listen, we both know it. Y'all don't have to talk back to me. So listen, that is it. That's the broadcast. Don't be distracted and do what God said do. And when you do what God says do, enjoy the fruits of that obedience because there's always fruit. There's always a reward. There's always a blessing. So listen, to those of you guys that need to sow, you can sow one of two ways. You can sow via paypal.me/thoughts by T, or you can sow via the Cash App using $thoughts by T. The seed title is going to be Obey God. Obey him. Obey God. Thank you so much for typing those points, and I hope that y'all are taking notes. Tomorrow I may not be able to broadcast after I get my tooth pulled. So listen, don't be distracted. Do what God said do. Enjoy the fruits of your obedience. That's it. Yeah, Pastor Ron, I got to get my tooth pulled. I'm not excited about that. I really don't want to go. If I can be quite real, like even though I know the tooth is chipped, it needs to be like pulled. It ain't hurting me, and I really don't want them. Like I'm not really wanting to go. God knows I'm just not really for. I wouldn't be mad if they called me and said, "Hey, Miss Brady, we gotta reschedule you." I would not be mad at all. I would probably be a little bit happy, a little bit probably too happy for God's probably a little bit too happy than what God would want me to be. But He knows I would be happy if they said, Miss Brady, let's just we gotta reschedule. Fine by me. Fine by me. Fine by me. So listen, that is it. There may be a seed that God leads you to sow, Stephanie. Everyone else on here, Jocelyn, you need to sow. I don't know why God wants me to tell you that. He says you know that. He says you know that you need to sow. So whatever it is that you need to sow, whatever it is that you need to sow, whether it's something that goes with your tithe towards your tithe, that's what I hear. Whatever it is, make right on it. Make right on it. I love y'all though. I'm rooting for you guys. So listen, till next time, y'all. Peace. And also, if you need prayer for anything, um, sir, I want to scare these little kids. But anyway, if you need prayer for anything, um, prayer.thoughtspot@gmail.com. I'm in one of those playful moods. They're standing outside my car. They're not leaning on the car, but I would love to scare them by honking my horn, but I'm not going to do it. But that's it, y'all. I love y'all. I'm rooting for you.